Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For Pause in a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Today we're going to be talking about all of the series I'm still in the middle of. Okay, so I did this video last year, and then a few months ago I did a reaction to it, trying to see how many that I had read in 2021. But then I didn't do an updated one, and I'm 90% sure that I have way more books on this list than I did last year. So we're gonna do another one. I've split this up so that I have one book in the series left, 2 books in the series left, or 3 or more books in the series left. So that's how we're going to do this. I haven't split it up by genre because I was basically just going through my Goodreads and making a list. So we're going to start with the first one, which is that I have 1 book left in the series. Now this is either the series is complete and I have 1 book left in the series, and then it's done, or I'm caught up in some cases. I have 1 book left and then I would be done. I would be done. So here we go. Okay, the first one is probably the one that is the most embarrassing because it's the one where, I talk about this author all the time. So why haven't I finished this book? Why is it taking me so long to finish this book? It's going to happen, maybe next month. That Kind of Guy by Talia Hibbert. This is the 3rd book in the Ravenswood trilogy. This is a contemporary romance. And I don't know much about this one, but I think it's kind of like Danny and Zaf. That kind of friends to lovers type thing with some fake dating in it. That's everything. I don't know why I read it. We're going to read this. The next round of the Final Book Support Group, I think that's the name of it, is happening the first 2 weeks of May. I also have a lot of other things happening in the first 2 weeks of May. Mainly, I am getting married. So, rating's not a priority. But I feel like I can probably read this, right? The second book that I would have 1 series to be caught up with would be Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This is the 2nd book in the Bellinger Sisters series. I read It Happened One Summer last month? February? I don't know. It was sometime earlier this year. And I actually really liked it. And that was kind of Tessa Bailey's redemption because I hadn't liked her books in the past. So I am curious about this book. I feel like it's gonna probably go back to what Tessa Bailey normally does, so I'm not sure, but we're gonna give it a try and we're gonna see one more time. Okay, and then we have Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morgan Crow. This is the 3rd book in the Nevermore series. I'm pretty sure that the next book in the series is coming out later this year, so technically it's not 1 book, but it's not out yet, so it's 1 book. This is a middle grade fantasy, and I didn't really like the 1st book, but I did really enjoy the 2nd book, and I heard that this one is even better, so I am excited to pick it up. I really wanted to read it for Realmathon, and I just didn't get to it. So we'll put it back on the shelf, and we'll try again. Okay, and then we also have A Mirror Mended by Alex E. Harrow. This is the 2nd book in the Fractured Fables series, I think. Technically, this one does not actually come out until later in the year, but I do have an arc of it. So I'm counting it as I do have 1 book in this series left. This is another one that I really wanted to read for Realmathon, and I'm not going to get to it, unfortunately. Okay, next we have the 2nd book in a duology. We have Into the Midnight Void by Mara Fitzgerald. This book is on my R Fantasy Reddit bingo board TBR. I'll link it up above. So this one will definitely get read sooner rather than later. I just don't have my hands on a copy of it yet, and Scrib doesn't have the audiobook available. So I'm going to have to get the book at some point. But obviously I will, because I really liked the 1st one. But that's why I haven't read this one yet. Lastly, another one that has been on my TBR for so long. I've had it on so many monthly and readathon TBRs, and this is embarrassing at this point. I'm pretty sure I've had this book on my active TBR for 2 years now. I want to say it was January of 2020 that I actively put this on my TBR. And that is First Comes Like by Alicia Rai. I have an audiobook copy of this from Libro FM, but I don't have the physical book of it, which I think is probably why I haven't picked it up, because I just keep forgetting about it. So I need to work on this. This could be another one that I would read during the final book support group, just because it's easy, it's romance. I could probably finish it super quick. All right, and then lastly, I'm putting this one on here. This one's a little bit of a stretch because I want to reread the whole series. But I do only have one book on the TBR left, and that is Girls of Fate and Fury. This is the third book in the Girls of Paper and Fire series. It's a YA fantasy about like overthrowing the patriarchy, really. But I don't remember what happens in the first two books. Mostly the second book. So I want to kind of reread the whole thing and get back into it. But technically the other two would be rereads. This is the only one on the actual TBR. Let's move on to the series where I have 2 books left in the series. A lot of these are like trilogies where I've read the first one, but I haven't completed it. I haven't completed anything else. But some of them are ongoing series where I just have 2 left. So the first one is I have the second 2 books in the Shades of Magic series. I'm only holding the first one up because the other one's in the other room. I have A Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light left. I read A Darker Shade of Magic in like May of 2020, I think. And then I didn't continue on for some reason. I think it was because I couldn't find the audiobooks for the second and third books. I've heard that these are really easy to read. I've heard that they're really bingeable. So I would just like to get into the series and just like continue it. This is on my Our Fantasy bingo board, so I would like to have read it at least by March of 2023. I would hope so. We'll see though. Okay, and then I have the second and third book in the Hell's Library series. So I've read The Library of the Unwritten. So I have the Archive of the Forgotten, and then the third book I didn't even realize existed. I thought this was going to be a duology, but then when I was at Barnes & Noble the other day, I noticed this on the shelf, and we have God of Lost Worlds, I think is what it's called. And apparently it's the third book in the trilogy. So I have 2 books to read for that. It's fine. The first book was really fun. It is about a librarian in like the middle parts of hell that guards the stories that were never written. So if an author dies or an author just puts the story down, then that story, the characters in the story and all that stuff go into this little library in hell. And the adventures, chaos, that's kind of the thing. It was a really fun book, but I never continued it. So we should do that soon. All right, so I'm 2 books away from being caught up with the Wicked Villain series. So I have The Sea Witch, which is the Ursula story. And then we have Queen Takes Rose, which is the Queen of Hearts story, which I'm also pretty sure is sapphic. I really enjoy the Wicked Villain series. I think that they're a really bingeable read. I just, for some reason, haven't continued on with the series, even though they're all on Hoopla. So, I don't know. I enjoy the series. It's a lot of fun. They don't have a lot of plot, but they're just fun. It's a fun, like, interesting mafia romance, essentially, with the villains of popular Disney movies and things like that, and fairy tales. So it's a little bit of a twist on it, and I love it. Okay, and then I do have another romance. It was actually a quartet, and I have 2 of them left, and I've talked about these, Fumbled and Snapped. These are the two that I have left in the Playbook series. These is an NFL romance, where, like, we're following the players of this football team and their respective romances. And now, okay, the draft happened this week, and now I'm really missing football, and so I might read those sooner rather than later as well. I'm putting too many books on my TBR for a month that I'm probably not going to be reading that much. It's fine, don't worry about it, I'll be fine. Alright, and then lastly, I have a graphic novel series, and I read the first volume as an arc in 2020, and then I didn't continue on with the series, and now we have volumes 2 and volumes 3 out, and that is Ghosted in LA. This is about a college student who ends up, for some reason, not rooming at UCLA, but at this haunted mansion thing where there are ghosts and adventures happen. It's very short. Each volume is only like 60 pages or something like that. But they're on Scribd, so I should be able to like knock them out pretty fast. Actually, I'm going to add one more series that I have 2 books left, and that's because I'm like almost finished with the first one. And I love it, and I know I'm going to pick up the rest of the series, so I'm just going to give myself a freebie. Watch in a year, it's not a freebie, and I haven't finished the series. But that's City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I'm loving this book. I have like about 100 pages left. I'm loving this book. It's going to be a 5-star read. There's no way that this is not going to be a 5-star read. And this is a trilogy. It's a completed trilogy, so I have 2 more books in this series. But I'm going to put it out there, even though I haven't finished it yet. I know I will. Now let's move into the series where I have 3 or more books in the series left to complete. There's not as many as I thought there would be, honestly. But that's a good thing, I guess. But some of the series I have lots left. So the first one is the Bromance book club series. I did read the first one in April, and so I have the next ones to read. I didn't love the Bromance book club. You can hear my thoughts about it in my wrap up. I didn't love it. It was a 3-star read. However, I think part of the reason why I didn't like it is because I don't usually like the marriage and trouble trope. It's just not my favorite. I feel like the author has to do like way more work to prove that the guy is not a piece of crap. And I generally don't get on board with that. So I don't normally like it. So I think I'm going to give the author another chance because not all of the books that she's writing are that trope. So we have Undercover Bromance, which is the second one. Crazy Stupid Bromance. And then Isn't It Bromantic? I don't know what any of these are. I don't know anything about them. I haven't really researched them. But yes, I did buy the entire series. They were on sale at Half Price Books. And I was like, I'm not going to find them any cheaper. So we're going to just do it. Okay, and then we have the Red Rising series. Now, I know that there's like an original quartet maybe, so I'd have 3 more left. But then I feel like there's actually more books either happening or have happened. I don't really know how this works, but I'm pretty sure that there are currently 3 books that I need to finish in this series. Red Rising is a book that I did reread also in April. So I started so many series in April. Despite my actual goal is to finish series, I started a lot of series in April. So it's fantastic. I enjoyed this book upon reread, and I'll definitely continue on with the series, which is why this is going on here. It's not as high of the priority as some of these other books are, but I do definitely want to continue on with the series. I've heard that even if you didn't like the first book, the second and third and fourth one are so much better. So I'm hopeful. The next series is The Mortal Instruments, and you could encompass that as to all of them, or you could just do the original 6 because I've read the first one. So I still have 5 more in that original series, and then I have trilogies that I haven't even started yet. So I don't know how we want to classify that. If we just want to put it all into one series, I think we'll separate it out because it'll make me feel better and the numbers will look better. I think we'll do that. But even still, in this original 6, I still have 5 books left in this series, and one of them is definitely a chunker. So that's fun. We love that. Lastly, I have 2 graphic novel series. We have Saga, which I have 6 books left in the series, I think. These are pretty short graphic novels. It's a sci-fi, with an alien races. It's an alien war type thing. It's a fever dream is what it is. A lot is going on and I don't really know, even though I'm 3 books into it. And then we have Paper Girls. It's by the same author. It's also a fever dream. I don't know what's going on. It's a sci-fi-ish thing. It originally started in the 80s, but then we had some sort of time travel thing. I don't know what happened. But I have 3 left in that one as well. I'm very curious to see what happens in the rest of the series and see if I can eventually figure out what's going on. Because right now I have no idea. Okay, so those are all the series that I'm in the middle of. I would also like to do a video on a series that I haven't even started yet, that I maybe own more than 1 book in the series, that I probably shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that at all. So that's a video that might come next month. But that's all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you would like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.